The American Geophysical Union is an organization dedicated to promoting discovery in earth and space science. One of our core principles is adherence to the highest standards of ethical conduct. That's why we have formed a task force on scientific integrity and are soliciting member input to update and revise our existing policies. That's also why we are so pleased that NOAA has chosen AGU's fall meeting as the venue for releasing its own scientific integrity policy. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jane Lipchenko, Undersecretary of Commerce for Oceans and Atmosphere and the Administrator of NOAA. Dr. Lipchenko.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I am proud to announce the release of NOAA's policy on scientific integrity. I really appreciate AGU for providing such a great venue for us to roll out this landmark policy. I want to tell you a little bit about how the policy was developed and what it says, and then would obviously be happy to take your questions. The policy was developed from a deliberative and inclusive process that included employees and public input, and I think the policy really reflects the commitment of both NOAA and the Obama administration to do a number of things, to protect scientific findings from being suppressed, distorted, or altered, to strengthen science, and to encourage a culture of transparency. Science really underpins everything that we do at NOAA, our research, our services, and our stewardship. And scientific integrity underpins our ability to both produce and to use good science. The policy that we're releasing really reflects the commitment that I made when I first came to NOAA to strengthen science, to ensure that it's not misused or undermined, and to base decisions about policy or management on good science. So this scientific integrity policy is really about fostering an environment where science is encouraged, nurtured, respected, rewarded, and protected. Using input from NOAA's employees and our partners, members from the scientific community, this policy promotes a continuing culture of scientific excellence and transparency and integrity at NOAA. We believe it will help strengthen widespread confidence from scientists to decision makers to the general public in the quality, the validity, and the reliability of NOAA science. One of the main functions of our scientific integrity policy is really to commit to a culture of support for excellence, for what I believe are our principal scientific asset at NOAA, and that is our employees. This policy applies to everybody at NOAA, not just to scientists. It applies to political as well as career folks, anybody who does science, supervises it, assesses it, interprets it, communicates it. Scientists, their managers, and policymakers will all be governed by this policy, and each group commits to upholding the integrity of science at NOAA. To make sure that everyone understands what the policy says and has an ample opportunity to ask questions, we're going to be providing training to all employees who fall under the scope of the policy, and we'll provide information about the scientific integrity policy on the Scientific Integrity Commons website at NOAA. So what does the policy actually say? Well, it takes steps to ensure that NOAA will continue to produce science that the public can use and trust. It's been crafted to minimize the likelihood that science is misused, undermined, or misunderstood, to ensure that scientific practices comport with the highest standards of the scientific community, to minimize the likelihood of misconduct, and to have in place measures to deal with it should it happen, to protect whistleblowers, to enable policy and management decisions to be grounded in trustworthy data and science, to provide public confidence in data, analyses, syntheses, and results, and more broadly, just to foster an environment in which science is encouraged and nurtured and protected. NOAA encourages its scientists to engage with their peers in academic, industry, governmental, and non-governmental organizations by presenting their work at scientific meetings, by publishing their work in appropriate outlets, serving on editorial boards and on scientific and technological expert review panels, and actively participating in professional societies, national and international scientific advisory and science assessment bodies. And we support recognizing our employees through professional benefits, for example, with any honors or awards that their research and discovery warrants. Of interest to all of you, I'm sure, will be a new aspect of our policy that says that NOAA scientists may freely speak to the media and to the public about their work. They do not have to request permission from someone at NOAA to respond to your inquiries. NOAA scientists are free to present viewpoints that extend beyond their scientific findings, but they must make it clear that they're presenting their own opinions. Appropriate disclaimers for use by NOAA scientists, if they're expressing their own personal opinions, will be posted on the Scientific Integrity Commons website. The policy ensures that selection and retention of scientists is based only on the candidate's integrity, knowledge, credentials, and experience that's relevant to the position. And in no circumstance will any NOAA official ask or direct federal scientists or other NOAA employees to suppress or alter their findings. The policy ensures that data and research used to support policy decisions undergo peer review where feasible, and NOAA will examine, track, resolve, and report all reasonable allegations of misconduct while ensuring that unwarranted allegations do not result in slander, libel, or damage to them. The policy extends whistleblower protections to those who report scientific and research misconduct and to those accused of research and scientific misconduct in the absence of a finding that such misconduct has occurred. It also sets procedures for resolving allegations of misconduct and consequences through the associated procedural handbook. And so in addition to releasing the formal policy today, we have a companion handbook that really describes in greater specificity exactly how the policy will be implemented. So I want to close simply by recognizing the very talented team of folks at NOAA who have been working on this scientific integrity policy for many, many, many months now, and for the extensive input and feedback and guidance that we have received from the scientific community at large, from many people who are probably likely attending the AGU meetings. The policy has benefited quite significantly from this iterative, intensive, deliberative, and inclusive process, and I believe will stand us in good stead as we look ahead to the future. So I'm really proud to have this policy. I think that it will continue to be refined as needed. I'm sure as we gain experience with it, there may be things that come to light. But I think we are in a good place with the policy. It's the first scientific integrity policy that NOAA has ever had, and I think it's appropriate that we have it. It's a living document and one that I think, because of the extensive dialogue we've had within NOAA about it, is one that has a lot of ownership within the organization, and one that I believe will be durable. So those are the broad outlines of the policy. It gives you a sense of the diversity of issues that it covers, and I would be delighted to answer any questions that you have about it to the extent that I'm able.